Rumors suddenly exploded claiming Rihanna supposedly ditched A$AP Rocky for Drake. The never-ending love triangle heated right back up after Drake's fresh album Iceman arrived, carrying lyrics seemingly aimed straight at Rocky and shady little swings toward the couple's romance. Stay right here, because somehow this situation only turns messier from now. The 18-track Iceman brings guest appearances from Future, Molly Santana, and 21 Savage. Its record Make Them Cry instantly became the most streamed song within a single day of 2026 on Spotify. But those streaming numbers, honestly, almost felt secondary beside what people were actually obsessing over. Drake turned especially icy on Iceman and apparently saved his frostiest little shots for former friend A$AP Rocky and ex-Flame Rihanna. Even though Drake and Rihanna have not been romantically linked for an entire decade, his repeated public confessions about his ex somehow kept this love triangle storyline alive. Right now, Rihanna seems happily settled with Rocky, shares 3 children alongside him, and is rumored to have secretly married. Yet somehow that still has not stopped Drake from tossing pointed little digs toward the relationship. Across several fresh lyrics, 3 songs on 3 different records throughout the project, Drake came for the couple, and every shot landed differently. The first arrived through Burning Bridges. Drake reflects on broken friendship and lost romance across the pointed track Burning Bridges, featuring a lyric that sounds suspiciously aimed toward Rocky's latest album. You saw my brother, you was trying to fix it. Now you drop your album, and you back to sin. The brother most likely means DJ Academics, Drake's ally, who appears on Iceman. Rocky also gave an interview with Academics while promoting Don't Be Dumb, which eventually included several Drake disses. Then Drake somehow pushes things further. Somewhere else inside the track, Drake raps he could become harsher toward his rival, but I still got love for your misses. Then during the chorus, the rapper suddenly questions exactly how supportive the relationship between his rival and their partner truly feels. Your baby mama ain't even post your single. Damn, where's she at? That line alone practically shattered the internet. The suggestion that Rihanna never posted A$AP Rocky's single, true or false, felt exactly like the type of insinuation Drake clearly understood would explode. Those bars sparked complete chaos among Drake fans who rushed toward Rihanna's social media just to flood her comment section with reactions. Many fans rushed to post Drake gifs, while others casually filled the comments with messy little reminders that she supposedly ain't even post a single from Rocky's newest album. The funny part? Rihanna had actually praised Don't Be Dumb online, and even showed up for its release. But please, since when have facts ever stopped the internet once a juicy storyline starts running wild? Then suddenly came Firm Friends. Pretty much everybody moving inside Drake's circle catches random shots on Firm Friends. And naturally, that absolutely included Rocky and Rihanna. Drake practically spells out his frustration toward his former friend through the acronym loaded lyric __ hey I say, that's some __ that you could do for me. Later inside the song, Drake seems to hint at supposed inconsistencies surrounding Rocky and Rihanna's relationship timeline. Tell him why you really hate me, and what year did she date me? That little line matters more than people think, and trust me, we are circling right back to it. Then suddenly arrived Ran to Atlanta. Drake directly calls out rappers who constantly keep his name in their mouths while casually bringing up shared women in the process. I get mentioned a lot by a bunch of people that I wish I never met. We sharing women that I already _ at the height of my success. 3 songs, 3 entirely different approaches, and suddenly every social media platform exploded with theories, reaction clips, and endless lyric breakdowns. Even before release, Charlemagne the God hinted that Drake had some pointed words waiting for A$AP Rocky and DJ Khaled on Iceman, and somehow that still ended up being an understatement. But what really made those bars sting harder was not only the lyrics, it was the history attached behind them. History stretching back nearly 2 entire decades. And honestly, to understand why this exact moment landed so loudly during 2026, we have to rewind all the way back to where everything first started. Before A$AP Rocky even entered the story, Drake and Rihanna had one of music's messiest almost relationships ever witnessed publicly. A painfully slow-burning, constantly denied, never fully defined situationship stretched across nearly an entire decade. And somehow, like every dramatic story ever told, everything first began inside a restaurant. Back in 2005, the Toronto rapper first crossed paths with Rihanna. The first time I met Robin Fenty was 2005, Drake later revealed during the 2016 MTV VMAs. Rihanna happened to be filming the music video for Panda Replay inside a Toronto restaurant and ended up meeting Drake, who was literally playing background music while guests casually sat there eating dinner. Drake was basically unknown back then. Rihanna was already, well, Rihanna. And somehow, that strange little imbalance in fame, power, and emotions quietly became the thing that shaped absolutely everything waiting to happen next. Not long after Rihanna's highly public breakup from Chris Brown in 2009, following Brown's assault case involving the singer, Page Six reported that Drake and Rihanna had been spotted together at Lucky Strike in New York City. According to the outlet, their source claimed Rihanna spent the night drinking whiskey mixed with apple juice while making out with Drake for hours. Just the first of many whispered moments Rihanna would later downplay while Drake, somehow, kept pouring feelings into music. Later, Rihanna joined Angie Martinez's radio show to respond to rumors linking her romantically with Drake. She quickly denied everything and insisted they remained friends. Meanwhile, Drake clearly seemed far less casual about the whole situation. Drake suddenly started sounding like somebody deeply heartbroken, writing lyrics about Rihanna and fireworks, while later telling the New York Times she made him feel like a pawn after a song he created for her quietly disappeared. "I was a pawn," he admitted. "You know what she was doing to me? She was doing exactly what I've done to so many women throughout my life. Show them quality time, and then disappear." I was like, wow, this feels terrible. And honestly, that confession revealed far more than Drake probably realized, because what he described, feeling replaceable, forgotten, almost temporary, sounds suspiciously like something he never completely moved on from whenever Rihanna entered the picture. Since 2009, rumors, songs, surprise appearances, and stage moments somehow kept their relationship floating inside public conversation. They teamed up on tracks including What's My Name, Take Care, and Work. Their chemistry constantly sparked speculation, yet somehow never turned into anything permanent. The highs and lows between them felt endless. Drake and Rihanna were later seen having dinner together at Sons of Essex in New York before the 2013 MTV VMAs. Then Drake appeared on The Ellen DeGeneres Show, opening up slightly about where things stood between him and Rihanna. "Yeah, great girl. We had our moment. Always support and have love for her." But honestly, those carefully measured words never sounded deep enough to cover what clearly lingered underneath. Drake later admitted to Rolling Stone that Rihanna remained his ultimate fantasy and was eventually spotted traveling around Paris beside her. Then suddenly came the unforgettable 2016 MTV VMAs. The moment Drake fans somehow still replay endlessly. "She's someone I've been in love with since I was 22 years old," Drake told the crowd. "She's one of my best friends in the world. All my adult life, I've looked up to her. Even though she's younger than me, she's a living..." But during a 2018 Vogue profile, Rihanna made things painfully clear when she revealed she and Drake were not even friends anymore. Not secretly dating, not quietly reconnecting, not anything, not even friends. And just like that, the door slammed shut. But into that empty little space stepped somebody who, plot twist, had quietly been around the entire time: A$AP Rocky. The friendship between Rocky and Rihanna actually stretches back almost a full decade before romance ever officially entered the picture. And somehow, the way everything unfolded, slowly, intentionally, and very publicly, made their eventual relationship feel almost impossible to avoid. Rocky later told Jimmy Fallon that he first crossed paths with Rihanna outside a New York City club long before rap fame ever touched him. "I wasn't famous back then. She was obviously Rihanna," he laughed. "I couldn't even get inside. I was with my friend, the late great Virgil Abloh, and Matthew Williams. We were kind of going back and forth with the bouncers. Then suddenly she walked out, and we locked eyes immediately. I was honestly just standing there in a daze and a little embarrassed. She caught me arguing with security and stuff like that. And somehow, that tiny moment became the beginning. No giant fairy tale setup, no dramatic romance, just a club, a bouncer, two people locking eyes, and something oddly unforgettable. From there, Their friendship slowly built itself through fashion, music, trust, and a connection that quietly kept growing stronger. Rihanna opened the 2012 MTV Video Music Awards performing Cockiness, Love It, before A$AP Rocky casually stepped out to perform his remix verse. But honestly, the way Rocky grabbed her backside, kissed her neck, and casually walked away immediately had people convinced sparks were flying. Rocky later joined Rihanna as an opening act during the North American leg of her Diamonds World Tour in spring 2013. Then Rihanna, lovingly called Riri, appeared inside Rocky's September 2013 Fashion Killa video as both his love interest and fashion-obsessed partner. And all this chemistry, touring, and creative teamwork unfolded while Drake was still publicly talking about his feelings for Rihanna. And honestly, that context changes everything. It was not until around 2020, during the coronavirus pandemic, that their longtime friendship officially shifted into romance. He became my family in that time, the Fenty Beauty founder explained inside her April 2022 Vogue cover story. People don't get out of the friend zone very easily with me. Rihanna later confirmed her romance with A$AP Rocky had quietly begun near the end of 2019. "I've seen him in relationships. He's seen me in relationships," she explained. "We knew what we were capable of and the kind of trouble we could bring into each other's lives. We can make or break each other's hearts. And because of that, they stepped into love carefully, cautiously, and fully aware of exactly what was at risk." Careful, from a woman who had already watched Drake pour out his feelings on an MTV stage and somehow still felt absolutely nothing romantic back. Rihanna stepped into this relationship carefully. She walked inside fully understanding exactly what it meant. And Rocky? He clearly had zero hesitation whatsoever. When GQ profiled Rocky back in 2021, he said it without blinking. "The love of my life," he admitted plainly. "My lady," he added. "Everything feels way better when you finally got the one. She probably equals like a million of the others combined. I think when you know, you know." Meanwhile, their families suddenly expanded fast. The pair welcomed their very first child together, a baby boy named Rizza, born during May 2022, who clearly was never staying an only child forever. By August 2023, second son Riot Rose had officially arrived. During May 2025, the pair revealed at the Met Gala that baby number 3 was already on the way. Daughter Rocky arrived later that September. 3 kids, an unconfirmed marriage surrounded by rumors, and Rocky repeatedly calling her the one in interview after interview. Meanwhile, Drake still seemed emotionally stuck somewhere inside all of this. That line from Iceman's Firm Friends, "Tell him why you really hate me, and what year did she date me?" suddenly feels oddly specific. Was Drake quietly questioning timelines, asking who Rihanna dated, when she dated them, and whether anything secretly overlapped? It sounded like a sharp little insinuation, leading directly toward the moment Rocky seemingly got tired of hearing them. By January 2026, A$AP Rocky had barely released music for almost 8 years. His last studio album before Don't Be Dumb arrived back in 2018. And when Rocky finally came back, he returned sounding like somebody settling unfinished business. A$AP Rocky clearly held nothing back on Stolia Flow, a track from Don't Be Dumb that references Rihanna, while sounding suspiciously close to a direct Drake diss. The lyrics felt painfully precise. Rocky was not casually throwing shade. He seemed to hit directly at the emotional bruise Drake carried for years. The key line? Rocky rapped, "First you stole my flow, so I stole your __." He also made it obvious that his baby mama was Rihanna, so we unbothered. A confident little message delivered without hesitation and guaranteed to stir chaos. These definitely were not random bars. Rocky sounded like someone staking a claim, not only over a woman, but over the entire moment itself. He was not simply saying, "I got Rihanna." He was basically saying, "I got Rihanna. While you spent years chasing something that somehow came naturally to me." Then came the move, leaving almost no confusion behind. Rocky sat for interviews and practically confirmed what everybody had quietly assumed. During a New York Times podcast uploaded January 14th, one day before his new LP released, Rocky admitted he already expected people to assume Drizzy inspired the antagonistic lyrics from Stole Ya Flow. Because after all, I think we all know, he said about the song's subject. When pressed about what happened between himself and Drake, Rocky explained, "I started seeing people who began as friends and slowly became foes. Felt like they were unhappy for you and started throwing shots." Then during a sit-down with Apple Music's Ebro Darden, Rocky somehow pushed things even further and finally said the quiet part out loud. He revealed the reason. Rocky explained that despite how icy and awkward things became between himself and Drake, there was no real smoke involved. According to Rocky, things simply went sideways over women. "This thing between us, it's not real smoke, but I just don't F with him," he admitted honestly. "We was once friends. I feel like it's over females. I feel like he wasn't happy, and he expressed that." The Harlem rapper also called Drake soft for repeatedly throwing lyrical shots toward Rihanna over recent years. Rocky clearly believes it is time for Drizzy to finally move on from whatever happened between them in the past. Soft. That single word somehow carries serious weight inside this entire feud because Rocky is not only questioning Drake's supposed claim over Rihanna. He is also challenging Drake's emotional energy altogether. The endless songs, the dramatic VMA speech, the bars scattered through "For All the Dogs," Rocky seems to see all of it as weakness, like a man painfully unable to let go. And honestly, the contrast Rocky paints feels brutally sharp. While Drake still appears stuck writing music about somebody who moved on years ago, Rocky is over here raising 3 children beside her, calling Rihanna the love of his life, and showing up beside her inside courtrooms. And yes, that courtroom moment matters here. Back in February 2025, A$AP Rocky received a not guilty verdict connected to his trial involving a 2021 incident. The entire moment unfolded emotionally and instantly. Rocky immediately rushed into Rihanna's arms inside the courtroom, visibly overwhelmed and relieved. Speaking afterward to the jury, he said, "Thank y'all for saving my life. Thank y'all for making the right decision." And yes, Rihanna stood there for the verdict. That does not exactly scream somebody quietly drifting away from their relationship. Yet somehow, for months later, Drake released Iceman and started firing lyrical shots all over again. Now that Rocky and Rihanna are together raising 3 young children, Rocky seems especially protective of his family, even when Drake gets involved. And when Rocky feels provoked, he does not spiral. He responds carefully. He responded with "Stole Ya Flow." The obvious question suddenly became, what exactly would Drake do next? That answer finally landed on May 15th, 2026. Drake did not drop 1 album. He dropped 3. Across 43 songs spread through Iceman, Maid of Honor, and Habibi, Drake threw shots at celebrity after celebrity. But somehow, among every target caught inside that giant mess, the A$AP Rocky and Rihanna angle kept refusing to stay quiet. The feud already burned loudly through 2024, eventually ending with Kendrick Lamar dominating the Super Bowl halftime stage and collecting 5 Grammy Awards tied to the diss track Chaos. Iceman became Drake's first studio album since 2023's For All the Dogs, while all 3 projects marked his first releases following the massive fallout from his war with Kendrick Lamar and legal battle involving Universal Music Group. So suddenly, this stopped feeling like only a love triangle. It started looking like somebody bruised publicly, challenged culturally, dragged legally, and now swinging at everyone he thinks left him behind. And somehow, Rocky and Rihanna landed squarely inside that storm. Fans believe much of Drake's resentment toward Rocky traces back toward what he likely viewed as betrayal. The 2 rappers once worked closely together during the early 2010s, but fans believe Rocky threw shots at Drake inside his 2026 album, Don't Be Dumb. Rocky later admitted they were no longer close, quietly hinting at tension tied to Rihanna. But now comes the complicated part, because the title asks something dramatic. Did Rihanna leave A$AP Rocky for Drake? Based on everything available, the answer still looks like no. Even though Drake and Rihanna have not dated in nearly 10 years, his repeated declarations about her somehow kept the love triangle rumor machine alive. Today, Rihanna still appears settled beside Rocky, raising 3 children with him while marriage rumors continue floating everywhere. Even after years of speculation and Rocky casually calling Rihanna his wife, the pair still have never officially confirmed anything. Despite recently welcoming another child, Rihanna even hinted at baby number 4 after commenting beneath an Instagram video discussing pregnancy during 2026. And honestly, none of this sounds like somebody quietly preparing to leave. When Rocky released Don't Be Dumb, Rihanna did not disappear into silence either. She showed up, praised the album, and supported its release publicly. Rihanna even gave a public shout-out supporting A$AP Rocky's upcoming tour after all those Drake disses started flying around. And honestly, that does not exactly sound like somebody halfway out the door. That sounds like someone very much still inside the relationship. Rocky himself later opened up about how deep their connection really runs. Speaking about Rihanna, he explained, "We got so many of the same interests. We were obsessed with documentaries, especially the Bob Marley one. Watching movies together is honestly fun. We probably watched El Cantante like 15 times. And naturally, Rocky admitted Rihanna changed over the many years since friendship slowly turned into partnership and eventually parenthood. Becoming a mother shifted things. That definitely changes you, he explained. Speaking with Esquire in January, Rocky admitted fatherhood had always been part of the dream. I wanted to be a dad before I got with my girl. I wanted a baby girl or baby boy, whatever God gave me, and somehow God blessed me with 3. So, what is really happening here? What story actually hides underneath this dramatic headline? Honestly, the bigger story may actually be Drake himself. A man who, across decades, countless songs, an unforgettable VMA speech, repeated diss tracks, and now an entire 3-album rollout, still seems unable to fully process that Rihanna ultimately chose someone else. The woman he once stood in front of millions calling a living, breathing legend in our industry back in 2016 eventually built a family, a rumored marriage, and a deeply rooted life beside someone who once happened to be Drake's collaborator. Even though Drake and Rihanna have not been romantically involved for nearly 10 years, his repeated public declarations somehow kept this endless love triangle conversation alive. But somehow, that still never stopped him from sneaking pointed little shots toward the relationship. And suddenly, the question flooding the internet, did Rihanna leave Rocky for Drake, starts sounding suspiciously like Drake's own question. Because honestly, it feels like the same thing he has quietly been asking for nearly 15 years through lyric after lyric. Will she return? Does she regret moving on? Did that "baby mama ain't even post your single" line somehow mean cracks were forming? The reaction to Iceman reveals just how deeply fans remain invested inside rap's giant emotional soap opera. And while revisiting old drama risks overshadowing music itself, Drake still leans directly into spectacle, mess, and chaos, the exact things that have fueled his career for years. Meanwhile, Rihanna appears busy building a life. 3 children, whispers of marriage, hints toward baby number 4, and support for Rocky's career. She even commented beneath an Instagram video discussing getting pregnant again during 2026. She stood beside Rocky inside a courtroom during his verdict. She showed up. And honestly, Rihanna and A$AP Rocky increasingly feel like modern love built differently. Their story began through friendship, mutual respect, creativity, and years spent genuinely knowing each other. Before romance arrived, shared humor, values, and chemistry were already there. When friendship finally shifted into love, it happened carefully, privately, and with intention. Together, Rihanna and A$AP Rocky slowly became a power couple completely on their own terms, choosing connection over spectacle. Today, they balance family, fashion, music, and parenting with a kind of effortless energy that feels strangely rare. And when Rocky spoke on all this, he shrugged it off simply. Hip-hop tactics and beef feel like WWF. It's wrestling. But this thing between us? It's not real smoke. I just don't fool with him. Not real smoke. Unbothered. 3 kids. Rumored marriage. And no, Rihanna did not leave A$AP Rocky for Drake. If anything, the opposite story has quietly unfolded for years. Through lyrics, interviews, VMA speeches, diss tracks, and courtroom moments, the real truth feels much simpler. Drake never fully left Rihanna behind. And honestly, that quiet little detail might explain exactly what every single Iceman bar was really trying to say.